During the next few minutes, I will demonstrate how Komodo is helping businesses protect their data and operations in a way no other security vendor is currently capable of. In a study by Ponemon Institute and IBM, 69% of organizations said they don't believe the threats they're seeing can be blocked by their antivirus software. The reason for that is every cybersecurity company utilizing signatures, dynamic behaviors, and even the best predictive AI machine learning are all based on a flawed methodology to find a bad indicator so that they can stop 100% of malware from coming into your network. That is simply not possible to do. Because we know security providers cannot prevent 100% of new malware from coming into your network, how will you protect your network and data from damage from a malware that bypassed your current security layers? There is no solution to this problem. Since we know malware cannot be stopped from coming in and causing damage, Komodo has changed the way we think about solving it. Komodo's approach is different in its ability to render malware useless while it's in your network versus attempting to block it since it's not possible. Let's see how it works in action. On a Windows 10 endpoint, we have Komodo Security installed and fully updated. Here we can see our antivirus, firewall, containment, HIPS, and viruscope, our multi-layered endpoint solution. Here we have an example of a weaponized document that is one of the most common attack vectors for malware. It can execute scripts, payloads, and even have users click on links, but the purpose is to run code on a device to cause harm. In a device protected by Komodo, any script or executable will automatically run in a nano-virtualized environment, what we call containment, as you can see in our contained processes since it's unknown. Here, we also have a behavior engine that runs inside containment, and in some cases, we will be able to identify bad indicators even completely offline. However, as we mentioned, finding bad indicators to prevent 100% of malware from coming in is simply not possible. So if we click ignore once, we'll keep allowing the malware to execute. An unknown file is a file that has never been seen before by any of the 100 million endpoints Komodo has reporting back to our Valkyrie platform on a daily basis. When the file is in containment, it cannot cause any harm or damage, and we don't need to detect in order to protect your system. We protect your system by putting these brand new unknowns into a nano-virtualized containment automatically. As you can see, we have a C drive VT root folder, and that is the space where all the modify actions occur for unknown applications. We have a patent portfolio and the technology to virtualize all vital resources that a malicious executable could utilize. We only virtualize the key components malware needs to cause damage. Write access to the disk, registry, and the COM interface are critical to malware to cause damage as food, air, and water is to humans. By taking its ability to write, we render the malware useless, as you can see by looking at our real documents folder, where no encryption has taken place. Going back to the VT root folder, you will see that everything in there has been encrypted. The malware thinks it has run and affected our actual files, but as you can see, the data is unharmed, untouched, and there is no downtime for your company or your users. What we have just done is prevented the next unknown malware outbreak from crippling a business. We stopped the compromise of credentials that could be used to exfiltrate data and potentially harm a company's brand, customers, and intellectual property. To clean up or remove this threat, although it has been contained, you can simply click on Reset Container and it will erase any changes that file has made in that virtualized environment. This is an automated process that's done once the actual file is found to be malicious, and this is all cleaned up. As you can see, no longer is that application there. There is no persistence. in the registry, there's nothing in the COM interface, and our VT root folder has now disappeared. There is no remnants of any damage that was done by that application, as containment will not allow it to do. So now that we have prevented the damage on the endpoint, what is going to happen with that file? Will it be virtualized for the rest of its life? Who will make a decision if that file is good or bad? We don't believe virtualization to be a permanent home, and we also do not want to burden customers to make decisions on files. Competitors are only able to vertically file based on a bad behavior. It is an assumption-based verdict, and they assume the file is good simply because they don't see a bad indicator in it. This is why we built Valkyrie, the world's only threat lab, which provides you a trusted verdict on 100% of the files as good or bad. Valkyrie is unlike other competitive solutions who use bad indicators to identify malware. We also look for good indicators. Komodo is the only company in the world looking for good indicators so that we don't just assume something is good. We make sure it is. In our cloud portal, where all our events are reported, you can see the files that have been contained in our containment screen under Security Subsystems and Containment. Here we can quickly see how many devices the specific file has been contained on. As you can see, number of devices and the actual file. Here we have an example of cryptic.exe. We see the file path, the file hash, and that has been contained on 13 devices. We can also see the parent process, as well as the Komodo rating and admin rating, and the date of the last detection, containment. When we look at the Komodo rating, this is the automated response from Valkyrie. Let's dig a little deeper into how Valkyrie works. Because we know it's impossible to stop 100% of malware from coming in, there's also no way to provide a 100% trusted file verdict with just automated analysis. Only Komodo categorizes files into 3 categories: good, bad, or unknown. By doing this, we have reduced the amount of unknown files to a manageable number where our real-time human intelligence can respond with a trusted verdict. You will notice that we have static analysis, dynamic analysis, other precise detectors, which is machine learning. When a machine learning algorithm cannot identify if a file is good or bad, we simply forward it over to our human experts. In this example, you will see if a human expert was involved in making a decision of the file, and you can see again the file name, the MD5 SHA-1, and other information regarding that file, as well as the human expert analysis results and what the overall verdict was from a human expert. You must apply real-time human intelligence at this problem to provide customers with a trusted verdict. We are the only company that can provide this. Furthermore, you can also get a detailed kill chain report to show exactly the type of malware that was contained and the potential impact it would have if containment was not there to prevent the damage. In the kill chain report, you will see the classification of the type of malware that it is. You will also see the activity details, and we also spell out the most common APIs and things that customers should focus on. For instance, this specific file is a packer because it has a high entropy. We've also seen ransom demands, and as you can see of the APIs, such as delete shadow copy, where it's common for ransomware to try to delete any type of backups. In addition, we can also show you specific exploits that this specific malware is trying to use if they're trying to exploit a specific application within your environment. There are other details within the kill chain report, including network behavior, so you can see any type of communication going out from the specific piece of malware. So now that we have prevented the damage on the endpoint, have uploaded the file for analysis to Valkyrie, and have determined that it is malware from a human expert, Komodo is able to provide you the ability to no longer worry about malware bypassing protections and no longer requiring detection methods to prevent damage in an environment. At the same time, we alleviate customers from having to make determinations on files and if they are good or bad in the environment. Komodo provides machine learning and human intelligence to make sure that you have a 100% trusted verdict on all the files that get uploaded in your environment. Furthermore, Komodo One provides an entire management platform capable of patch management, remote control, and other day-to-day operational manageability that is required to manage an endpoint solution. Komodo One as a whole provides multiple different types of solutions that customers can utilize for different protection layers. Endpoint Manager is regarding the endpoint solution. Shield is our DNS protection. CWatch MDR, EDR, and other types of solutions. Now that we have reviewed how Komodo can help protect against damage on the endpoint, and at the same time providing a 100% trusted verdict automatically for customers, let's take a look at what other management capabilities our cloud platform can offer. In our Komodo One dashboard, you'll see your security status, patch status, operating system, and other information at a high level. In our Endpoint Manager, you will have the ability to look further into the endpoint solution. Here we can see different operating systems, compliance, as well as audit logs regarding actions taken on the portal. Here we can quickly identify any actions or profile changes that have been done, by whom, and what those changes were. In our device list, we have the ability to view all the different endpoints that are reporting back to our Komodo One platform. And here you can group each device into particular groups that can have certain configuration files depending on a department or organization's needs. It gives it the ability to scale and manage at any type of different configurations. Here you identify the devices, their patch status, the last activity, active components, and by going into the actual endpoint, you will see further information such as device, OS summary, current network information, software inventory, as well as patch management. Patch management includes operating system patches as well as third-party applications. Komodo ensures that customers are always up to date, ensuring the hygiene of their environment is up to date, as well as securing them with multiple different security protections. To deploy Komodo, we have made it very easy. Here in the bulk installation package, you can simply select the device group, operating system, whether you would like to install the communications client, including the security client, the profile that should have on initial installation, and then the restart control options. As we can see, we can force reboot, we can postpone it, or warn the users and let them do it at their own time. Once you have completed the configuration, you simply click Download Installer, and the Download Installer will give you a customized package which you can use to deploy Komodo's endpoint solution. In our users list, we have all the different users that are currently managing our portal. We also have role-based access control, so that role management could be assigned to different users. For instance, in our technician role, we have different permission types which could be turned on and off to give particular access to that specific group. And any member of that group would only be able to do what the actions permitted by that permission. In the profile section, this is where we configure our security profile. By default, we have profiles for Linux, Mac, Android, iOS, and Windows devices. These all can be customized, configured, and applied to a group, device, or a user. Specifically, for Windows endpoints, our containment technology can be deployed very simply. In baseline mode, when we first install on a device, we would first learn your environment and identify all the unknown files in your environment. By doing this, we ensure that we learn your environment and make sure that any unknown executable gets a verdict. At the same time, baseline will enable the easy deployment, and at the end of a countdown, it would enable containment for any new unknowns. Other configuration options such as HIPs, file ratings, UI settings can all be configured via the profile. If we now move over to how Komodo can help automate different aspects of an IT environment, we also have our procedures. Procedures are simple Python scripts that can be created by the customers or via our scripts.komodo.com, and a customer can request any type of script that they need automated on endpoints. This could be anything from grabbing events to changing local admin passwords to even uninstalling existing vendors, security vendors, or other applications. There's an entire library here that could be identified depending on the category. And as mentioned, if we go to scripts.komodo.com, there are multiple different scripts that are uploaded and requested by other customers that can be downloaded and used by anyone. Furthermore, we also have the ability to patch third-party applications and Windows OS applications. As you can see in our patch window, we can either look by a specific device group, and here we'll identify all the devices in a specific group that have specific patches installed and not installed. The patches are labeled just as Windows, and the classification could be critical, updates, security updates, even service packs. Patches can be scheduled via a patching scheduling procedure by simply clicking the Schedule Patch procedure, and a patch cadence could be set up for either all devices, specific groups, or even Windows servers and Windows endpoints separately. We also have the ability to show you a global software inventory of all the applications that are installed across your entire environment. Here we have all the different applications currently installed by the devices reporting to Komodo 1, and you can see how many devices have the specific version of Adobe, for instance. By clicking that number, you can see the actual devices and any other application information that has been provided for the specific application. In the security subsystem, we have all our security events reporting in the security dashboards, and here you can see everything from an event-based view of everything that's being reported by the endpoints. You also have the ability to look at it from a file view. In the file view, you can simply look which files have been identified on devices and how many of those devices those files have been seen on. Here we can see the containment event for this file name, and we can see that there's 8 devices that have currently ran this file, and the Komodo rating is trusted. As mentioned before, the containment screen will contain all your contained applications, and you can review any application that's ever been contained within this window. In the application control list, we will reduce the amount of events that you see from containment to only those that are malicious or unrecognized. The reason for this is to show you which applications you might potentially want to override. In certain cases, possibly unwanted applications that are classified as malicious by Komodo might be allowed to run by specific customers in their environment. In that case, you can simply put a checkbox next to the file and change the rating as trusted, and that would be your admin rating to allow that application to execute in your environment. In the antivirus section, this is how our AV engine will report back to Komodo. We have the name of the device, the owners, antivirus database, and all the information related to AV events, alerts, and status. You can also see the current malware list and take specific actions on some of those devices, quarantine files, and also the entire threat history, and of course, all this information can be exported. Lastly, we also have the ability for controlling devices. Blocking USB devices such as mass storage devices can prevent any type of infection. The device control can stop any type of USB device from being enabled on a laptop or computer in an environment. In this case, if someone was to plug a USB stick, we can simply just block it using the device control, and then creating exclusions for only the ones that are approved within an environment. This is a quick overview of the Komodo 1 and Komodo's AEP Endpoint Manager.